As everybody know right now that's following me, everybody knows that I'm doing a series on internal racism within the Latin communities, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Dominican Republic, uh, so on and so forth. Colombia, all the Spanish countries that's having a lot of internal racism, colorism. I'm doing a series. I did some Mexican. Now I'm switching over to Puerto Rico. I only got, it's not a lot of views because maybe people don't find it interesting, or maybe to take a look at it and say, you know what, this brother right here hit the nail in the coffin. Somebody's finally saying something and doing something about it. The only one views I got was from the Colombian female. I think it was like almost 6,000 views. But as long as I get this word out here, people are in the comments, people are thanking me. They actually thanking me. Like, thanks for putting this out there. We always had internal racism and colorism in our culture, but nobody's saying something. But you come out of nowhere. Yes, I am doing these series. I did the Mexican. Now I'm starting on Puerto Rican internal racism. Listen to this female of what she's saying, because I've heard this because my best friends are Puerto Rican. My nieces and nephews are half Puerto Rican. My brother got with a Puerto Rican female and produced uh, a female and males. But I've always heard about this. One of my best friends I love, he's my childhood friend from Yonkers, New York. He is darker than me. When I say dark, he's darker than me. And when he went to school, he was in class, and the Puerto Rican people that I knew that had a problem with black people at first, but then it's, switched over. But when they first had a problem with black people, when he was in class with them, they said, look at this ninja. I don't want to say the word. And then, but they said it in Spanish, didn't even know that his parents are from Puerto Rico. So they didn't know it. So when they said it in Spanish, she said, I am not a such and such. And they was like, oh, okay. So listen to this female speak.
Let's move on to Puerto Rico. This person commented saying that they're Puerto Rican, they're from the island, that they don't know what I'm talking about, that Puerto Ricans have always been different colors. Duh, everybody knows this. But the standard Puerto Rican now, the ones that we see in the United States, the ones that are representing Puerto Rico, they're very pale-skinned people. Throughout the years when I would go to Puerto Rico, there would be people that look like me, people darker than me, very golden skinned people. And I am aware that in places like Loiza, we still have darker skinned Puerto Ricans. But the last time I went to Puerto Rico, which was like 2 years ago, I noticed that everybody was white. Everywhere I went, everybody was white. And I asked one of the girls, there was no curly hair anywhere, and I asked one of the girls, why does nobody have curly hair here? Because everybody was infatuated by my hair. They're like, oh, I want to put my rizos back in. And I said, why doesn't anybody have curly hair? And they said, it is taboo in Puerto Rico to have curly hair now. So they get treatments that permanently make their hair straight. They're not perms, but they're similar treatments. And I think my issue with not only Puerto Rico, but many Hispanic countries is that they lie and act like they don't know that the internal racism is super, super, super embedded into our culture. An example of that would be, and I'm sure many of my Hispanics have heard this, they'll say, no me traiga nietos negro. So don't bring me back black grandchildren. Or even other concepts such as, if your hair is not straightened, it's not done. And while we're aware that places like Jamaica and DR, Nigeria, they do bleach their skin sometimes, I think in a sense what Puerto Rico does is a little bit worse, because it intentionally breeds out the black, which is why today there's not that many darker skinned Puerto Ricans. And I'm going to show you guys pictures of what I remember in Puerto Rico when I was younger. So this is a picture of my aunt, rest in peace, and her friend. These are some more pictures. Hell, even I was darker. at one point. So because the concept of being black is bad, many people in the islands, they'll procreate with people of a different color. And I believe anybody can love whoever they want to love. But I do think after a while it stops being a preference and it starts being a standard. So my grandmother ended up having a child with a white man because that is the standard I'm talking about. Creating my mother, which she is a beauty, I must admit, but the root is my issue. The idea of being black being bad is my issue. And I'm like one of the last generations who is even this color. Me and my cousins were all mulattoes, and they all ended up procreating with whiter skinned men. So the next generation after me is all white babies, and it's going to keep getting whiter and whiter. And there were times where I wish I would have been born in the island. I'm an American. I was raised in America. I lived in Puerto Rico for a very small time, but there was times where I wish I would have been raised there, but I'm afraid that I would have probably had this internal issue, self-hate issue as well. And I think it bothers other Hispanics that I don't. There is not a lot of representation for Taino and black Puerto Ricans in the media. Actually, the only person who I can think of off the top of my head is Osuna and Mike Towers, and I think Osuna's half Dominican. And I think people think that colonization is a thing that happened hundreds of years ago, but no, this is colonization. This is colonization. I am a product of colonization. And then people will have a problem with me for identifying as black, even though when I look in the mirror, I don't see this white woman that people want me to see. I can see the Taina, but I have black features. And there's literally people in East African countries that look like the Hispanics on this side of the world. And the reality is, I know who I am. I know that I'm an Israelite. And that also bothers people. You try to tell, even this person who commented, we have nothing to do with Israel. First of all, it's an ignorant statement, because let's just say I'm absolutely wrong, and that the indigenous and that the slaves who were brought over are not Israelites. The Spanish had a high Jewish influence. The Spaniards have a lot of Jewishness in their blood. So that statement isn't true. I'm from the tribe of Ephraim, and it's not from the European in me. It's from the Taino and the black in me. So I choose to embrace that, because I will never be a white woman. No matter how much melanin I lose over the years, I will always be a woman of color. A black woman that came from a black woman that came from a black woman. And the Hispanic community just has a huge problem. And they lie about it. We're not racist, but then they say the most racist things, the most colorist things. And that's why I think that either the best or the worst thing my parents could have done was raise me in America. Because the Hispanics that are born in America and raised in America, they're able to see what happens to black American people and then look at their culture and say, this is wrong. And I stand on that. This is wrong. So, anyway, we'll move on to another country.
The video ended right there. Now, you see how dark her grandmother was? My friend was darker than her. That's how dark he was. That's like my brother. That's my brother. Okay? And his parents was from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And just like a lot of black Americans had it hard, a lot of them that's dark like that, he had it hard. Because even the cops used to call him N-word because they thought that he was black American. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'm going to keep going with these issues, and I'm going to keep making more videos because I'm proud to do this. And a lot of people are asking me to do more. They're asking me to do on Dominicans and Colombians and Cubans. I didn't think I was going to get praise for this, but thank you for everybody that's watching these videos. It needs to be brought out. I have even a lot of Caucasian subscribers, like family of mine, and they're commenting on these videos. This is Big Hawk, Yonkers native, Street Talk. Until the next video, God bless everybody.